Back Road Ministry, the world premiere, Mr. Moxley coming live and direct. So the question dropped. See the question of why I don't post all the time. Well, I don't post all the time because although I watch the news becomes so predictable that it gets boring at times. So, I'm not one to get engrossed in the news, 24/7. So right now we got all the Trump news, which to me is comedy. People getting their blood pressure up about Trump and he's the worst president that America has ever had. And I'm 44, about to be 45 years old with the blessing of God. And please, this has been said so many times, you just get tired of the round and round rhetoric of people. So, as we always state, presidents do not have power. The elite has power. The elite is made up of all those that are high in secret societies around the world, not just America. Americans, our problem is we so caught up in our own country, we forget that there's a world out there. And this world has been going on for a long period of time. And these established heads of the world have been around for a long period of time. We're talking about, different dynasties. We're talking about different civilizations. So we talk about Persians. We talk about the Asian civilizations, the Chinese. We talk about the Russians, the Tsars, the Germans. We're talking about the Europeans, the British. Remember now, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the British and the Francaise. So we come from dominant civilizations. We're talking about the Romans, who are now the Catholic Church. So members of the Jewish community, the Jewish religion, Jewish faith, it's been around for a long period of times. And those people come from some of these different civilizations, be it Eastern Europeans, a lot of my Eastern Europeans, a lot of my Arabs. So the African civilization and the dominance of Africa, which is seen all around the world now. Everyone is African. So this is the true makeup of the elite. This is where the elite come from. Like I tell people, the elite has no color, but the elites like to play the color game with people, like to play the class game with people, to divide us. As long as they keep the people divided. That was the whole thing with Babylon and the creation of the languages, was to divide the people. So making the people and put them in a situation where they never could understand each other. That was the mastery of Babylon. So everything became Babel at that point. So getting back to a place where we work together, we understand the conspiracies of the world together is where we want to be. But we struggle with being together because of racism and sexism and or any other ism we can throw in the way that separates us. So right now, in the last days of Trump, we've been in the last days of Trump for quite a few months, and now we're getting to the pivotal conclusion to the last days of Trump here in America. Thank God for that. But at the same time, there's concern and worry. There's concern and worry for me because we haven't seen the true player in this whole production, which is the Vice President of the United States, Mr. Mike Pence. If you are following the news or haven't been listening, you've not heard any mention of this man. So when is it that you have all this going on in the country and the Vice President of the United States is never mentioned, not one time? Mike Pence's name has not been brought up in like 3-4 weeks. Last time we heard anything about Pence was the whole thing with him going back and forth with Kim Jong-un's sister at the Olympics. But we haven't seen anything or heard anything from Mike Pence. And we spoke months ago and several videos ago about the danger of Mike Pence and Mike Pence's role in this production. Remember now, Mike Pence is the guy who's going to begin the beating of the drums of war. We're headed to World War III. So he'll begin beating those drums of war in the next upcoming year, leading into the next upcoming year. I don't have Trump if Trump makes it another year, I'd be surprised. But really, my opinion is people might have varying opinions on this. I don't have him getting out of this year. I think the Trump presidency ends after 2 years. Not even 2 years. Doesn't even make 2 years. I think the Trump presidency ends early and Pence takes over at some point in this. Remember now, we got some important decisions that have to be made, and these are decisions that no one pays attention to. First of all, that big decision that was made at the Veterans Administration, that was made for a reason. They want to put another secretary in place due to the war, due to the upcoming war. Remember, there's going to be a lot of casualties flowing through VA hospitals in the next couple of years. So they want their person in the VA. I think it's going to be a female. I think it's going to be a female selected. Right now they got an acting secretary, but I think they're going to select a female. And Congress now has to approve this selection. So first time in a long time where we had that situation, but it was perfectly set up by the elite utilizing Trump to do this. And you know, they tell him what to do, he does it, that's his job. Really had, like I say, he has no power. So this person probably has already been picked. He's already been selected. So be watching that. Be watching for Pence to spring back up again and reappear. Remember, we haven't seen Mike Pence in a minute. And be looking for, you know, Trump's conclusion to kind of match that of, you know, some of the Watergate stuff, which we're seeing in the news now. The breaking in of, he accused the FBI and a New York U.S. Attorney's Office of breaking in his lawyer's office, which is a bunch of BS. You know, come on now. How you break in with a search warrant? But, you know, they got to make it sound good. You see the 4-alarm fire, the break-in that Trump so-called causes it, all happening on April the 9th. Why did they pick April the 9th? So if you've been following, you know, the little bit of gematria, I know a lot of you guys might not follow gematria, but the little bit of gematria and numerology, as we go to the mathematics of the day, 4 and 9, if you put those two numbers together, you get the number 49. Remember, we talk about the books in the Bible, about 49's relationship to the book of Revelation, which is, I believe, the 49th book of the Bible. So these members of the elite follow holy books to the T. They follow the holy books to the T. They follow, you know, the passages of the Bible, the passages of the Quran, the passages of the Torah to a T. So now we see that revelation of the next war is coming to play. And they utilize certain days to do certain things. So yesterday being a day of revelation, look how much stuff came out yesterday. Right after the whole thing with Syria, next thing you know, we got all this stuff all this hell breaking loose with Trump. So it's like they do a calculator. The 4-alarm fire was not in the news Sunday. They made sure it was in the news Monday because of the date. So everything they do is really to a T. They have the science of the numbers down, and it's all back behind the ritual of the number when they drop a certain story. So people knew about the fire in New York, but it was not on Yahoo, it was not on MSN. There's a fire at Trump Tower. Why is it not one of the Trump buildings? Why is it not on the news? They're told when to put these things on the news. It's because of the ritual. They have to do it according to date. There might be times when a person dies, and they might die 4 days before, and they might, you know, put the information out on a certain date. They do that for a reason. There's a lot of ritualistic stuff going on that people just aren't paying attention to because they're not into these type of sciences. We got to remember gematria, Kabbalah, sorcery, alchemy. These are old practices. These are practices that have been going on for a long period of time. For ages. And it's not like they're going to go away overnight, but to the masses, you know, that's stupid. They use the word conspiracy theory. And I pointed out to you guys on several occasions where you see the same things over and over again, the same number. So you see 13, you see 49, you see 33, you see 7, number of completion. See all these numbers over and over again. So just pay attention to the same thing. 17, 44, the kill numbers. 46, the sacrifice numbers. You see the same things. 47, Euclid's 47 problem, the building a foundation. You'll see the same damn numbers if you're paying attention. This is all about 25 and impeachment. 18 to 25 are impeachment numbers. So anything that you see that got to do with 18 to 25 is going back to impeachment. So I can go on and on about certain numbers all day and which ones to look out for. But pay attention to how the script goes. See if Pence pops his head up, but just put your back against the wall. Get ready for war, because that's where we're heading. That's where this whole narrative is leading us, to the female president who eventually takes us into war. Mr. Mahdi, Back Row Ministry. Be safe. Peace and hair grease, and one love.